Previously on Serafina. The fucking avocado interview.
Help!
Oh shit. It was such an attack on my senses that I feel like I have no choice but to like it. Charli should make a remix album. Whatever gets you off, I guess.
Hey Billie, you there?
Hi, it's me, and you're all in danger. Don't ask me how many times I try to do that. If you're new to this channel, I'm Serafina. How are you? And if you are a subscriber or a returning viewer, welcome back. I hope that you're doing very well as well. The hair is hairing, the fit is fitting, and the girls are girling. Oh, act like an angel, dressed like crazy. Alright, today's video is a video that I've been wanting to do for a while, which is me looking back at albums that I've already reacted to and review the deluxe tracks, because with my reactions, I just tend to look at the standard track list for the reaction. I was going to start in chronological order, starting with Blackout, but considering how popular Brat has become, I thought, why don't we stay on the Brat summer train and do Brat first and just say fuck chronological order, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. So that means Midnights is probably gonna come last, because I just don't feel like trying to review 11 songs. Oh, that's gonna be fun. If you were to ask me back half a year ago when Von Dutch came out that this era of charli was going to be as successful as it was, I would have been a bit skeptical, because, you know, I thought this was going to be just another run-of-the-mill charli album that was going to be loved by her fans and, like, just general, like, pop lovers. But the fact that it went this mainstream, I think, to me, the marketing really speaks to how successful this album was. The music, the aesthetics was so, just everything about it was so on point. That color of green is imprinted in pop culture now. Like, I can't go anywhere without seeing that green and just think of this album. That's some really smart marketing there. I think whatever name of color that green was should be changed to Brat green, because of how impactful it has become for pop culture. And in the future, when we look back at albums from the 2020s and what were some of the most successful albums of that decade, I feel like Brat is going to be up there as one of the first ones that people talk about, because it is so successful. It is definitely one of the best albums of the year. And I'm so glad that I got to witness that firsthand. I got to experience that in real life along with all of you. I just want to say quickly before we move along, thank you so much to everyone that watched my Brat reaction. I'm so glad that it did well. I kind of knew it was going to, because Brat is so popular. It's just really fun that a lot of people did enjoy that reaction and loved it. Just a lot of good vibes and energy from this video, which I could not be more thankful for. Thank you so much for all the love. I hope you can give the same amount of love for this video as well, considering it's still Brat. You know? Alright, so before we get started, please like this video, subscribe to my channel. I'm still on the road to 100 subscribers. Comment down below, hit the notification bell, and follow me on Instagram at Serafina_Serafina. Again, I will upload at some point. I just don't know what the fuck I should post there. I honestly don't know. So bear with me on that. I will get around to that at some point. Alright, so with all that being said and done, let's get into the review. Goodbye. Look, I must admit, when I first listened to Hello Goodbye, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. And the main reason why was because I didn't like the fact that the chorus was building up to a beat drop in the first two choruses, and then by the end, it just was so anticlimactic and it just dropped off into the second verse with no beat. That raised expectation of the beat drop and then nothing, it just kind of put me off from listening to the rest of the song, and I'm like, I don't know, like, it just didn't gel with me. I didn't like that it did that, and I don't know if I listened to the rest of the song afterwards, because I'm like, oh, is it going to be like this all the way through? It isn't, obviously, but I was like, you know what? I've been put off from this song. It's my least favorite song on the album. I don't care. So when I listened to the song again in preparation for today, I was able to listen to it again and really sink into the sound and the lyrics. And I have changed my opinion on it. It is definitely not my least favorite song on the album anymore. Thank goodness. To anyone who still loves Everything is Romantic, I'm sorry. I don't dislike any of the songs from this album. They're all great songs, but there is just different amounts of like to them that I have for these songs. Listening to the intro and entering into the first verse, one thing that I really noticed about this song is that the production and also the melodies within the song are very reminiscent of 2000s dance/club music. I want to say it takes inspiration from different songs from different parts of the 2000s, but none come to mind specifically that I can think of, but it just has that vibe. When I think of the majority of the song, it just feels more late 2000s, especially with the melody in the chorus. Like that to me sounds very late 2000s. The production in the verses sound very late 2000s, but then the beat drop at the end, there are certain sounds I can think of. I can't verbalize what they sound like, but it just kind of sounds a bit like early 2000s. Yeah, again, it just really takes inspiration from the 2000s and different elements of 2000s dance/club music, which makes sense considering that there is definitely a lot of 2000s inspiration with this album. The lyrics of Hello Goodbye, I feel like are quite reminiscent of Talk Talk. I feel like they have the same sort of sentiments. With Hello Goodbye, Charli is talking about wanting to talk to this guy that she likes, but she feels really nervous and anxious to speak up to him because she loves this guy, and how when one of them approaches the other, instead of saying hello, Charli says goodbye and just walks off because she gets too nervous to speak to him. Kind of like Talk Talk, because Talk Talk is all about Charli wanting to get to know this guy and wishing that he could just talk to her again, and feeling nervous and just having all these feelings of like love and wanting to speak to him and everything. Yeah, they're kind of one of the same, but I think Hello Goodbye kind of has more of a chill, like, aesthetic to it, where Talk Talk's definitely more of like a bump in that. Very danceable, more movable, more groovable than that. I think Hello Goodbye is still growing on me. I think where it's situated now in terms of the ranking, I think I'm happy with it because I can't see it being better than any of the other songs that are higher, but not as dislikable as the songs further down, I guess. I don't know, not to say that I dislike any of the songs, but I think where it's situated is good. But it is overall, out of the 3 deluxe tracks, my least favourite of the 3, just because the other 2 that we're going to get into now are they are so good. That's all I've got to say about Hello Goodbye. So with that, let's move on.
The Muppet Show backstage.
Now, we are in a... how do I start off with talking about guests, though? Oh, actually, you know what? I will say this. Lyrically and musically, this is the dirtiest and grittiest song on the album because the lyrics speak for themselves about just talking about underwear. It's really... that's all it is, really. You wanna guess the color of my underwear. You wanna know what I've got going on down there. Is it pretty in pink or all see-through? Is it showing off my brand new lower back tattoo? Ooh.
Okay.
The production is so really heavy. It's so heavy. That beat drop after the second chorus. Whoa. It is so nasty. It's so dirty. It's disgusting. And I love it so much. It's so good. It is so good. But speaking of the production, I have to say, this is up there with Von Dutch as being one of the most late 2000s sounding songs on the album. It really kind of takes you back to that, like, late 2000s club music. Like, it would sound like it came from a annual album from Ministry of Sound. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if I bring out my copy of the annual 2007 and both Guess and Von Dutch magically appear on the track listing because it sounds so much of that time. I cannot get enough of the song. The lyrics are very catchy. Once the lyrics get in your head, it gets in your head. Who produced the song? The Dare. I've not heard of The Dare until this song, but you know, I think he is with it because he really has encapsulated that late 2000s sound. I'm gonna have to listen to his music because it sounds so good. Now, another thing I want to bring up is, I don't know if this is sourced anywhere else, I'm gonna have to check afterwards, but according to Wikipedia, I'm gonna take that with a grain of salt, but apparently there is an interpolation of Technologic by Daft Punk in the song. Obviously, when Charli's in the chorus going, try, buy, lick it, spit it, pull it to the side and get all up in it. Yeah, I understand that, but if it is true, it's uncredited. And we'll get to that with Spring Breakers as well, but I feel like if a song is sampled or even interpolated, it would be mentioned in the credits of the song. So either Technologic is uncredited, or people are just reaching just because she's saying try by Lick and Spit It, you know, all that hoo-ha. I don't know, like, it seems, like, I get it, but also, yeah. People have mashed up both these songs together on YouTube a fair bit, so I guess it makes sense, but I feel like something like Technologic being interpolated can be a bit of a reach sometimes because of the lyrics of Technologic, and I don't know. I guess it depends, really. It really depends on how it's been used, but it is unofficial. Now, the last thing that I want to mention is Guess also has a remix. It is currently the 4th remix from this era to be released. This time, Charli has teamed up with Billie Eilish for the remix to Guess, which is really big for a few things, because firstly, I feel like this is the first time that Billie is in a club track like Guess. It makes me want to see Billie do, even if it's just an EP of like club adjacent music. I'm pretty sure Phineas can pull that off. I want to see how she would experiment with that genre of music. This remix of Guess also marks Billie's first ever feature, which I did not realize until people said it. She has not featured in any other song at all. This is her first ever. Since she blew up in 2019, she definitely has a lot of room to be featured, but she hasn't been featured at all up until this point. She has collabed with artists, but as co-leads, not as a feature artist. So that's fun. And the remix is fun too because Billie has her own added lyrics as well in response to Charli in the first verse. It's not like an overly like basic remix, you know?
Wait!
Charli's got taste. All I've got to say is stream window liquor. I will say though that I do prefer the original version of Guess to the remix. I mean, I love the remix, but not as much as the original. Out of all the remixes so far, the only remix that I like better than the original is Girl So Confusing. Again, I think hearing Lorde's side of the story just really impacts the song a lot more than the original. Again, still love the original, but not as much as the remix. It makes me want to reiterate what I said in the reaction, that I really do want Charli to make a Brat remix album, because I really do think that it's necessary at this point for Charli to do so, to make this era more iconic than it already is. Like, can you imagine a remix album of Brat with all of these songs having features of different artists, remixed by different artists? I know that people will love it. It would go off. It would be so iconic. What did I say? What did I fucking say about this? Am I psychic? Oh my god. Well, I just want to say a quick thank you to all of you for helping to manifest this album with me. And I would also like to thank myself for being the motherfucking prophet that I am for predicting this album. Actually, no, I didn't predict this album. I just wanted this to happen, didn't I? I mean, well, it still happened. I still can't believe this has actually happened. What the fuck? What the fuck? I'm not saying I'm the sole reason why this album exists, but you're welcome. And speaking of the remix, the last thing I want to mention is that thanks to the remix of Guess with Billie, Charli has officially gotten her first #1 single as a lead artist here in Australia, which is so phenomenal because I never thought that would happen. But that's just the power of Brat. Brat gives Charli #1 singles. Can't argue with that logic, because I'm pretty sure even as a feature artist, she only reached like #3 or #2, I believe. Where did Fancy pick? Actually, I think it was #5. I think the highest as a feature artist she got was #3 with I Love It with Hyperpop. I thought this song was fucking big in Germany. And then as a lead artist, her highest peak was, I think, with Boom Clap 10 years ago. Yeah, she peaked #9. Her most recent top 10 as a lead artist was 10 years ago, but with Break the Rules though. So a lot has happened since Break the Rules and Guess in Charli's career. We can all say that. I know the remix also peaked at #1 in other countries. I just forgot where though. And I'm really happy. I'm really happy for the success for Charli because this era has definitely solidified Charli as a main pop girl. Hopefully. Hopefully it is, because I think it's well deserved.
Vroom, 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 vroom in a big pink truck. February 10th and I'm gonna pull up.
I keep tossing up in my head whether or not I like Spring Breakers or Guess most. There are times when I'm like, oh, do I like Guess more? But then I listen to Spring Breakers and I'm like, wait, hang on. No, this is why I like the song better. Because Spring Breakers is it's so Brat when you think about it. Because I really feel like Spring Breakers encapsulates Brat as the aesthetic and the energy that it gives off for the album. I was thinking to myself before, 365 is a great final track for the standard track list because it really does come back a whole 365 for the album. But for the deluxe track list, Spring Breakers is still a great send-off because it still comes back to what Brat is. It's for the girls, gays and theys. But this song in particular, it is so Brat. I can't explain it, but I feel like a lot of you will get it. It is so Brat. It's so Julia. Is it so Julia? I don't know if it is, but it is definitely Brat. It is like, you know, this whole like image of party girl, 365 party girl, bumping that 24/7, 360. Spring Breakers does give this energy of, I might be a girl's girl, but don't fuck with me because I will ruin you. That's kind of the energy that it gives me, and I live for it. I live for that. The chorus itself kind of gives a bit of a cheerleader vibe. It kind of sounds like a cheer chant, if you will. Hi, it's me, you're all in danger, never gonna invite it because I'm such a hater. Got my finger on the detonator. Crazy girl shit, gonna go Spring Breakers. You know, like, that's kind of what it gives me. All I'm really saying here is, if there was ever to be a remake or reboot of Bring It On, that's it. Yeah. There are so many different elements to the production, but it's still so good. Like, the second and third choruses are so good. With the added bass to the song, it just makes it sound, again, like Guess, quite gritty. But that's kind of the whole thing with this album, but also with hyperpop in general. Hyperpop really does give that gritty, metallic sound. That's kind of apparent with hyperpop. That's quite apparent with hyperpop as well. Why can't I speak at the moment? Girl, I know you're trying to enunciate, but also, like, speak! For fuck's sake. Hang on, let me just put some lip gloss. Tyler, they stole my lip gloss!
Tyler, they're stealing my lip gloss!
Alright. The other important thing to note about Spring Breakers is the Every Time interpolation. Because I remember seeing that it did interpolate Every Time by Britney Spears before I listened to it, so I'm like, oh, how's this gonna work? I'm kind of excited for it. And then when the song started, I'm like, oh shit, how's it gonna go? And then we get introduced to the interpolation in the first chorus. It's very quick, it's only like a second or two long. It's just kind of like the beginning of the chorus, but then it just abruptly cuts with a gasp and then leads into a continuation with the chorus, which I do love. I love that there is an interpolation of Every Time because that is one of my favorite Britney songs of all time. Just like with Technologic, this interpolation is uncredited. Yes, it's there and it's quite apparent that it's an interpolation of Every Time. I don't know how interpolation, like, crediting works. Is it the same as like using an actual sample, or is it because it's an interpolation? It's not like actually straight up like sampling the song or doing like a cover per se, or are they just uncredited? I don't know. I love sampling and interpolations in songs, but you know, sometimes I don't know in regards to, especially with like interpolations, do the same rules apply with sampling in terms of crediting the writers? I don't know, but anyways, it's still good. Actually, speaking of Every Time, the lyric that came after that interpolation where Charli says, every time I make it so outrageous, is that a nod to In the Zone? Because as we know, Outrageous is another single, let alone song, from that album alongside Every Time. That has to be more than just a coincidence. Speaking of which, I'm pretty sure you guys all saw that little do something edit I put at the beginning of the Spring Breakers intro. But, you know, I'm like, yes, she is also driving a big pink truck, which I thought was so on the nose there. I was like, wait, when did Do Something come out? Because I'm like, did it come out February 10th, like the song says? Because I'm like, wait, is this also a nod to Do Something? I had a quick look. Do Something came out February 14th. So that's 4 days. I'm probably incorrect, but it still seems like a bit of a coincidence, don't you think? But then, if it's not that, then what's happening February 10th and why is she pulling up to Staples Center? Like, literally, what the fuck is up? Place went boom.
Hey, embarrassment.
As I said before, it's so fun, it's so Brat, and I love the song so much. Oh, is it my favorite song on the album? I don't know. It's competing with Sympathy Tonight because I love that song so much. It is one of the best songs on the album. Spring Breakers and Guess are definitely at the top half of my ranking for this album. I reckon it's still gonna be second though. Nonetheless, it's still a great song, and if you haven't already, I mean, you probably have, but go stream Spring Breakers. It is such a fucking great time, and it's a great song. It is so Brat. That's all I have to say.
You can't sit with us. Actually, Megan, I can't sit anywhere. I have hemorrhoids.
So that was the very first deluxe track review for the channel. I'm happy that I started with Brat because it just needed to happen. Brat's gonna go down in pop history as being such a fantastic album and era. Again, everything about it just has worked out so well. So my favorite deluxe track on the album, again, it is tough because I love both Guess and Spring Breakers. I think Spring Breakers just takes it out against Guess because the second and third choruses for me just really take me out. Least favorite is Hello Goodbye, but I do love it a lot more than I did probably a month ago. That's all good, but I think in comparison with the other two songs, it just kind of is middle of the road in that sense. But again, it's still a good song regardless. So with that, if you've come this far, thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. It will be greatly appreciated. Again, I'm on the road to 100 subscribers. I'm hoping that I will reach that goal before the end of the year. We've got about 3.5 months left. So I'm hoping I can, but with the content that I've got lined up for the rest of the year, I'm quite certain that I will hit that target, so I can't wait. Comment down below, what are your favorite deluxe tracks? I guess, how do you feel about this era overall with how things have turned out? Like, did you at the beginning of this era expect this era to blow up as big as it did or whatnot? Like, I don't know, like that's all I can think of at the moment. Hit the notification bell so that you can get notified on when I upload next. And again, follow me on Instagram at Serafina_Serafina. There will be a link in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, I'm really happy that this era has worked out so well for Charli, and it just made her even more popular than she already is. I just cannot be more thankful for that for her. At this point in her career, I think she well and truly deserves it. So until then, take care of yourself, treat yourself, do what makes you feel good, love yourself, and I will see you all very, very soon. See you later.
Слышь, не маси, бемяс, ночь, не